really since the walls came down, since communism fell, we've been there. And, every group that you could imagine came in the very beginning. Good, bad, ugly, everything in between. You know, every cult, every Christian group. But over the time, when you stick things out and you just keep plugging away and all, God's given us a space. What's not true has faded away. And we have 28 churches now in Hungary. Across the country. It's exciting. I'd say, let's see here. 24 of those are pastored by nationals now.
Oh, really?
And so, in many ways, like the movement of Calvary over there is moved from kind of a missionary movement to very much a national movement. And very exciting times.
And you're really involved in church planting out in that area of Europe, aren't you?
Yeah. I think in missions, that's our niche for Calvary Chapel, is church planting. Some missions groups focus on like orphanage ministry, great, or medical missions, or short-term missions. I'd say for Calvary, like one of our main is church planting. It's kind of our model here. We plant churches across the country, and over there we've kind of taken that same model of like, we're in Jerusalem and then go out to Judea, Samaria, the ends of the earth. And so our goal is like, we go into a city, we preach the gospel, people get saved, we start church. That is church. And we kind of have, if you could say it like this, we've deconstructed what is church and then rebuilt it. And what does the Bible say? What does God say about what is church? And so we've got, I think it's 40 or 50 Calvary Chapels across Eastern Europe right now.
Wow. So what is it like planting a church in that area of Eastern Europe? Is it something that is, I wouldn't say easy, but are there a lot of obstacles to that? How do people respond to that? I mean, how do you even start a church in that area? Do you start with a Bible study? I guess everybody does it different. I've been a part of a lot of church plants, and I would say one of the commonalities we've had is we've had somebody wanting us to go there, even if it's one person, like who got saved at another church and said, gosh, I live in this city, is there any way you could send someone to come out? And we'll pray over that, get the green light from the Lord, go out there. And I'd say that it starts like kind of the practicals. It starts on the streets. It starts in schools if they'll let you. Just going into, maybe going to the local bars and meeting people, going outside and meet people, sharing the gospel. People get saved. And then we would start like a Bible study. Honestly, when I went, I never thought of myself as a church planter. I've been out there for almost 18 years. And I think the term like church planter is more popular today than it was when I went out. We didn't call ourselves that. Didn't make us better or anything, just simply wasn't a term we used very often. We just went to go preach the gospel and see people get saved, which is what we call church planting today. So, from there, you start a Bible study. You usually meet in a home, meet in somebody's apartment. As it grows, you kind of just keep growing with it. And we try to really keep away any of the trappings of what could be a church in the beginning. Churches, look at the book of Acts. Church was family. Church was like in a home. It was intimate. We want to keep that atmosphere as much as is possible. And then, as church grows, you kind of got to adjust to those things. So that's kind of the practicals of what we did. So how does the city officials and government, what is that like when it comes to, because I've never been there. When it comes to Christianity, is it an open thing for them?
When the walls first came down, it was the most open time ever. All of a sudden, they would let any group in. It's a very, we use the words liberal and conservative in America, and they mean something totally different than they do in Europe. We would say, almost in a sense, liberal was good there. They had a very liberal policy. Hey, you want to come in and do that? You're not hurting anybody. Do your thing, no problem. In the last 5 years, we've seen a change. And where the laws are working against not Christianity, but new churches. They've passed laws now that say, unless you've been a church for 100 years, you can't operate as a church. So what do we do in things like that? The Lord provides there's ways. We're not a legal church anymore. We were for 20 years, and then they took that away. But you know what? We had church that next Sunday, and we have for the last 4 years, as if nothing had ever changed. We've seen no
problems with that. I was telling a guy a story. One of the main issues with that law said if you're not a legal church, you can't go out and do evangelism. Well, that's a big thing for us. We're in the inner city.
Yeah.
We love to go out on the streets and evangelize. That next week after that law passed, we were out on the streets. We'd already planned it.
Yeah.
And we're out doing outreach without a permit.
Wow.
And we were a little nervous, but we just thought, it's a new law. What's going to happen? Kind of a comical story because the riot police showed up. Like full riot gear, 12 of them, 2 vans.
Wow.
And we thought, oh my goodness, but they didn't do anything. They just kind of stood around, and we thought maybe they're waiting for the right moment to kind of latch onto us. Yeah. So I went over and I was talking to one of the guys. I said, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
And he said, well, one of the big soccer games just got out, and we're expecting a lot of like hooligans and a lot of problems, and we are just here thinking that they might come into this area, and we wanted to be here. So, you're not here for, and I told the guy, I said, I got to be honest with you, we're not a legal church anymore. Last week, they passed that, and so we were kind of nervous. And he goes, no, we'll make sure that these guys don't bother you. You could do so. So we,
cool.
Those kind of experiences. We're having to trust the Lord in different ways than we did. Things were better at the fall of the wall, maybe than they are today.
Yeah.
But God is in control, and you just kind of roll with what you get.
Yeah. Now, why did they make it like that? I mean, why? What was the purpose of the law?
Yeah, I think that the party we have in power right now is we would say more on the right wing. They're not right wing, but center right. They're called in Europe.
Okay.
They value Christianity. They value historic Christianity.
I see.
So that is the traditional historic church, which, by the way, are not all bad, but people like us who are only 25 years old or so, they see us more as kind of a threat.
I see.
And so because of that, I would say that we're such a small group. We're a few thousand people in the country. As far as they're concerned, we're a non-issue. So I wouldn't say that they did this to get us. They did these things to value the historic church, and these we're kind of a result of those laws, but we're so small, it's inconsequential. Those votes don't matter to them. If I could be honest,
So what is it like living there? I mean, you've been there for 18 years, right? You're originally from California?
Yeah, this is home right here, Costa Mesa,
home. And
I went to this school.
Wow. So what is it like living in another country for that long? I mean, obviously, you're probably used to it now.
Yep.
But what was it like when you first went out there?
Gosh. Man, it's and even not just have we changed, but the country's changed.
Right.
So you imagine a country where there were no freedoms and very few rights, and now and I don't want to paint it as it was all bad before and now it's all good.
Yeah.
Because the truth is for many people, life was better then than it is today.
Right.
And I'll tell you why. They had the security of a job. Communism promised a job. It might have been a pointless job.
Right.
But they'd pay you.
Yeah.
And they would house you. And they'd feed you, and you'd have your medication. Older generations today, life is terrible. They privatized it all. There's nobody taking care of them. In no way am I suggesting, hey, communism, yay.
Right.
Just simply to say, apart from the Christian issue, which for many people they don't care about that.
Sure.
For them, their life got hard, So it was funny moving over there, though, and seeing cars I'd never seen. All these East German, cars made in communist times.
Yeah.
Today, totally different. When I first moved over there, I lived in Moscow, Russia before Hungary. Bread lines. We waited every day. Bread line. Waiting just to get food.
Wow.
That's a whole nother, I lived in Orange County, Now I'm waiting in a bread line.
Right.
I'm waiting to get food. I'm excited about pasta and butter.
Wow.
That was yes, but that's how people lived, And so I'd say on a materialistic side, that was a big thing. It was easier to preach the gospel really now, 18 years down the road. But that's because they were open to anything back then. And the reality is that there was a hope of a better life that today has not been fulfilled.
Right.
So now we're dealing with an entire generation who are hopeless.
Yeah.
And that is a great spotlight for the gospel.
Right.
Great spotlight for the gospel. Eastern Europe leads in abortions.
Okay.
48% of pregnancies end in an abortion.
Wow.
Suicide is one of the highest.
Really?
Depression is off the charts. And, primarily, without God,
Yeah.
Where is the hope?
Yeah.
And then there was this great promise, and I think that capitalism makes these promises like better, they're looking at America and saying, wow, what a strong country, what a great country. No doubt about it. It takes time to get to there, and I think that they're dealing with the pains of we expected things to be better quicker, and they're not.
Wow. So are you a resident there? Or are you just still like a visitor? You're a resident.
No, I'm like a green card resident.
You are green card resident.
We could get our citizenship anytime now.
Really?
And we probably will. We adopted a girl from Hungary, so she's both. She's American, Hungarian.
Sure. Oh, wow.
But we're green card citizens, so we come, we go.
Oh, wow.
No problem.
Wow. How long is the flight from there to here? I mean,
it's terrible. Yeah.
It's like further than Israel. Well, no, not really, is it?
Actually, it's... Well, no, because you could fly LA, Tel Aviv, where you can't do LA, Budapest.
Right.
So what you do here is you go LA to London, Frankfurt, one of those, and it's 11 and a half hours.
Wow.
And then you take a 2-hour flight to Budapest. So it's a day.
You probably get exhausted.
You plan for the day, yeah.
So it takes you time to adjust your
goodness,
the time change.
Oh, yeah. It's 9 hours ahead.
Wow.
From
9
LA.
hours. Wow. So you're going to be teaching tonight.
Yes.
And what's the title of your message tonight, or what they give you to teach?
Yeah. We all got to choose. The theme of the conference is things that matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I as I've been praying about it, for me, it's Christianity, culture, and the gospel. And those are I'm gonna talk about Christianity, culture, and the gospel. I'm going to focus in on 1 Corinthians 9.
Okay.
To the Jew I became as a Jew, that I might win the Jew.
Yeah.
To those under the law, as under the law. To those without the law, as being without the law.
Right.
To the weak I became as weak.
Right.
And my whole kind of idea is this. What will we do to win people to Christ?
Amen.
What am I willing to do?
Right.
And it has nothing to do with compromise. It has nothing to do with, placating or anything like that. But I see in Paul, and I especially see it in Jesus, that they made a tremendous change in their own personal lives on issues that were non-essential to the gospel.
Right.
There's things that, listen, it just doesn't have to do with the gospel.
Right.
I might think it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
It really doesn't change the gospel. I can still be saved and think either way.
Right.
And am I willing to give up that to reach somebody else?
Right.
Or am I willing to take up their freedom to reach people for Christ? So that's kind of what I'm going to focus on tonight. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So if do you guys accept missionaries or people that want to go out and serve? So where can they get information if they want to connect with your ministry?
Yeah, and I would connect them on 2 levels. I'm involved in this, a tremendous Bible college, Calvary Chapel Bible College Europe.
Okay.
We're the kind of like a hub for Europe for the Calvary. It's owned and run by Calvary Costa Mesa.
Okay.
We have 80 to 100 students every semester from all over the world. Our focus is raising people up who want to go into ministry, and particularly missions ministry.
Sure.
We have a great Bible college. I mean, one of the most exciting parts of it is that we're an accredited college.
Wow.
So kids come and they get an actual degree.
Wow. Okay.
Without us changing who we are. We get to be who we are. Teach the Bible.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed, but I've got my second daughter starting college in September.
Okay.
I'm telling you what, it matters to me.
Yeah.
I like to know that when she graduates, she's going to be able to use that anywhere in the world.
That's great.
And we have that now.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And so I think that's a real allure to parents, especially.
Yeah.
We focus on missions.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be missions, but we really do focus on missions. I would encourage them to go to our website for that.
Sure.
And the website is CCBCE, Calvary Chapel Bible College Europe.com.
Okay.
And that's our main. I encourage everybody who wants to serve overseas, including with us, to go there first, to get connected there. But they can look at our church online at Golgotha, Budapest. It's a little bit harder to say, so what I would suggest they do is this. Go to calvarychapel.com/Budapest.
Right, okay.
The name of our church is like Golgotha.
Yeah, okay.
In Hungarian, we say Golgotha.
Okay.
Our church is called Golgotha.
Oh, wow. So do you teach in that language?
I teach in English, and we translate into Hungarian.
Oh, you do?
I speak Hungarian, but we use English as still an outreach.
Oh, interesting.
Hungarians hadn't learned a foreign language, or they hadn't learned one that was useful.
Yeah.
And they have a great love for wanting to be connected into the world.
Yeah.
And so we still use it.
Yeah.
I'll do weddings in Hungarian. We'll counsel in Hungarian. Sometimes we'll do Hungarian to English.
Yeah.
But we always do both languages as an appeal to those who maybe wouldn't want to come for a Bible study, but they want to learn a language.
Right.
And they do. They come.
Interesting. Interesting. Well, Phil, thank you so much for taking time
it's
to come here
privilege.
and get this interview in and promote what you're doing there. So this is Phil Metzger from Calvary Chapel Budapest. He'll be teaching tonight. So if you guys want to watch the message, go to calvarychapel.com there. And again, thank you so much. God bless you.
Yeah, you too.
And have a
you
safe
too.
trip back when you head back.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks. Done.
Cool, bro. Thank you. Thanks.